Okay, so here I am. I'm live. So I wanted to share something with you guys that I've had for a little while, and it's part of a project that I found it was a little bigger project than I expected it to be, and so it took me some time to get the parts together as a kit. So this is a kit that I bought, and it's based on this robot brain. So I'm actually, oh boy, I got some very see-through arms. That's a bit strange. Okay, so I've got this. I'm actually just going to today. Green screen is not doing me any favors, so I'm actually just going to turn it off. There we go. Good. Now I just have a regular green background. All right. So I'm just checking. Yeah, we do have people who come to join us. And so I have a question for you guys, which is how are seeds going? I'm going to show you my update. Oh, there you go. Hi. I see you guys texting. So there's my seeds. They've really started to come in. And so I'm expecting, I think, on Friday that I'll be able to eat those. So yeah, I'm showing you guys a kit that I have ready to assemble, and it actually might wind up going to a student. I've got a student who's interested in robotics, and so that kit might wind up there. But I'm going to encourage you guys. Tell me how your projects are going. Yep, you've said hello. But ask any questions you can along the way while I'm busy showing you this kit. So this kit is actually in this crazy box that's labeled shredding, but it's not shredding. It's just a whole bunch of things that were kind of like all in a pile. So I'm going to be digging through this box and pulling out all the pieces that belong. So let me see if I can find. I'm going to turn this camera down because then you guys can see the parts as I build it. So there is the robot brain. That's the first part. This is a side panel. So there's a bunch of 3D printed parts. This is one of the wheels. 3D printed parts for this kit. I just started when I had a successful working 3D printer. I started adding parts to this kit so that it would build. So this is the wheels, and so there's two sets of wires that come off of this. This is, sorry, not the wheels, but the motors. So the wheels would sit on here. There's a little mount for connecting them. I'll find that in a second. But these are very complex motors because they're stepper motors. These are the kind of motors that are actually used in a 3D printer. I'm going to keep digging. There's another wheel. There's a lot of things that are in this box that don't belong. So there's this handle, but this handle is actually for something different. But I 3D printed quite a few parts. Some belong on this robot and some don't. So this is a hub. So the idea is that this would go through this. I think I'll have to sand it to make it fit, but it fits into there, and then this hole fits onto this stepper motor, and then between the two, that's how you kind of marry the parts together. Oh, good. Yeah, so the roots are growing on your seeds. That's great. That's the sign that you're doing it successfully. Yeah, so I'm glad to see that you guys are succeeding at that. I mean, it's a neat project. We're in spring, kind of approaching summer, and it's a really good time to get growing. So it's probably one of the easiest and best growing tasks you can find. I'm not even sure what that is, but it might be part of this kit. I can't remember. So I have these machine screws. So these are actually already in use in this mount. So this is a 3D printed mount, and then I've attached see how there's 4 connections there? I've attached the motors to the mount, and then these will attach to that, and then one more layer above this is for the electronics. So I'm just going to keep digging and see if I can find the electronics. That's kind of the most important part of this assembly. Right now I'm not seeing them, but they're in this box. It's just a crazy box. That's the challenge. This is the second part of the base. So that'll go like that. And that'll be the second part that the robot kind of sits on. So there's a second base. Yeah. I think it's in the other half of the box. Connected to the screws, there's nuts and bolts. Yeah. There's another piece of base. There's another wheel hub. So yeah, there's quite a few 3D printed. When I was 3D printing, when my 3D printer was working, I was getting a lot of these parts done because I was really keen to do this project. And then a couple things happened. One, my 3D printer broke. Well, it's not broken, but it's just not operating right now. I just need to tighten up a bunch of things on it. There's a little here while we're touring 3D prints. This is my friend Kellen made. He actually was chatting once on one of these. He made me this little 3PO. More screws. Boy, if I can't find... So far I haven't found anything in the way of electronics. And this is the box that I expected to find them in. But I've gotten... unfortunately, my electronics have kind of gone into a bunch of places. So I have to dig through boxes trying to find and organize them. But yeah, probably the coolest part. And I don't have it to show you. Although, while we're touring 3D printed parts, there's a little 3D printed Totoro. So you guys know that I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli. So there's a Totoro like the one I was trying to draw a little while ago. I still believe that they might be in this box, but I'm just digging through the chaos and not succeeding at finding the brain parts. Boy, there's a lot of screws. Good for me to have enough to do the job. Yeah. Everything that I need to build the robot except for the robot's brain. So we have the brain here, but then in connection with that, there were two other parts. So I'm just going to turn this back up. I'm certainly not going to build this robot today because that would be more hours than you guys probably want to be watching. I'm just going to turn this up. So I have a lot of parts here, but I probably have to find the rest of the brain. There's some pieces that this robot's designed to sit with these wheels like that and like, oh boy, like that. And then the brain sits on top, kind of like that. And then there is drivers for the motors, and there's a thing that measures whether it's sideways. And this is a two-wheel robot that's able to balance itself. So it will, if it knows it's tilting, it will go faster or slower to adjust. So that's the idea of this robot. But yeah, the part that does the thinking, the part that knows its position in space, and the part that controls these guys isn't in this box. So I'm going to have to dig a bit more before I call this a kit. Yeah. So that was a project that I started a while ago, and I'm trying to get that 3D printer back up and running. And failing that, if I don't get it back up and running, I'd like to probably buy another one. This 3D printer, this is about the biggest I could print on that 3D printer. It had 4-inch bed. So I've been looking at one that has a 7-inch bed, which would be way better. And you guys could maybe do some prints of your own and, you know, try it out. There's this really neat thing, if you want to check it out, it's called Thingiverse. And Thingiverse actually gives you free 3D models of whatever you want. And so I used to let students do things like they would say, hey, I found a Totoro on Thingiverse, and I'd be like, cool, let's print it up. So we would just print things that we found on Thingiverse, and then people could do artistic treatments to them, paint them, and it's a neat project that way. So yeah, something like this would have been made during that time, and also this little R2D2 model. I can get a better here. There's a good view of him. It's nice that his arm moves. Something like this, if you painted it, would be really cool, especially if I find his other leg. And yeah, it would be, imagine just like having an idea for a toy and then just hopping on a 3D printer, and then, 4 hours, 7 hours later, it's there in front of you. Something you can paint or give as a gift. It's a neat world that we live in, that we can do things like art tasks and engineering tasks with materials that didn't exist until we made them ourselves. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. I'm excited about this kind of project, and I'm hoping I can show you guys some progress as it's built in the next little while. And I'm appreciative that you guys tuned in today. I'm just messing with my screens for a second. Okay, so I think that's everything today. I mean, we don't want to go forever on a live stream. I'm going to encourage you guys, if you have work, I got a chance to look over what was done, and you guys are working hard, and I appreciate it. And I'm still your teacher, and I'm still checking in and making sure you guys are doing the best you can. So that's it for today. I'm sure sometime this week I'm actually going to stop in and say hi, because I think that's important as well. So this is me signing off for today, reminding you guys to wash your hands for 20 seconds at a time, and be sure to take care of each other. Thanks. See you soon.